Brendan Brown does the games on MSG on the radio. Brendan, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, and thanks, Mike.
All right, what do you see short term here? What would you do if you're Woodson?
I think what it comes down to is you have to evaluate what exactly Martin and Stoudemire, those two guys, what can they give you in terms of minutes? Would you even consider starting Martin? You know,
I would if he could give me a decent amount of minutes a night, and can he play back-to-backs? That's the question I have.
And so then there becomes the situation that you got to make the decisions off, and how do you make a rotation? Bargnani's going to have to play a lot. So Knicks fans who are pleased or not pleased with him right now have to understand this is a situation with numbers. Aldridge is on your roster right now. Is there a possibility you might see him, or you might see him in some spot minutes? I think that very much is true. And, you know, the Knicks were in this situation 2 years ago when the whole Jeremy Lin thing happened. That happened out of necessity, where he had to go to the point guard position and no one else was playing, or they were hurt, or they were ineffective. And so sometimes, as you know, the team might be looking for different rotations that work, and there's so many new pieces to this team right now. Maybe subtracting in a weird way can help the rotation because the Knicks are going to be forced to do certain things.
Brendan, the problem I have is this. Just looking at first, their effort hasn't been good so far, but forget that. Here's what I don't like. What I don't like about Bargnani is he makes Anthony, your best player, uncomfortable because the best team was Anthony at the 4. Now, if Bargnani has to play the 4, and now if you're going to play Bargnani at the 5 and Anthony at the 4, boy, you are going to be such a weak interior defensive team. I don't know how the Knicks can overcome that. And when they play teams that are good like big, like Indiana or San Antonio, they're going to get destroyed. I mean, they are just so weak defensively. I mean, how do you handle that? Plus, Stoudemire looks like he's shot right now. He looks terrible when he's been on the floor.
Well, I think the mentality that occurs with what you're saying, I think there's some fears that are in there, is that you got to play your best players. You got to put your best players on the floor, no matter where that is. Now, if that ends up being, you know, smaller lineups and, you know, Meta playing a lot of 4, or even Meta and Carmelo Anthony playing together at 4 or 5, if you feel that that's the best chance to win the game at that particular time, like you say, like on what you're thinking over the top is that how can you rebound and possibly defend that way?
Right.
But, you know, depending on what you're seeing in that individual game on the floor, maybe you can get away with it.
Well, I mean, are you saying play Anthony even at the 5 and Artest at the 4 and play down from there?
If you had to win a game.
Wow, I mean, that's unique.
I mean, times over the last couple of years that they've done things like that.
I mean, if you could listen, at least then I like the idea that you're at least causing problems on the other end of the floor. I don't know how you're going to rebound, but if you could play Martin, Anthony, Artest, and down from there, I'm more comfortable with that. I think that's the best lineup. If you can push Martin here, that would be the main question I have short term. Can you push Martin to play major minutes?
Right, and that is probably the best defensive look the Knicks have presently, and the best defensive sort of look and rebounding look as to guys being able to communicate. Meta has played very well, lost in all of everything that's gone on in the 4 games. Different ups and downs. This Meta is playing very good basketball, and he's playing well at the offensive end of the floor.
He is. He's making shots. He's playing well offensively, and he's actually trying to be part of the team, too. He's not going off on his own. He's actually playing well.
But part of the reason that would work with the front line you just suggested is that you have 2 great communicators out there, and that's what you get with Martin, and that's what you get with Meta. And that they're going to talk things out and help the guards in different sorts of ways. Now, one thing where the Knicks need to shore things up is their perimeter defense in these last 2 games at home has been a little shoddy. And, they're going to see the same sort of thing on Friday night at Charlotte with Walker and Henderson and these types of guys. So as much as we're talking about the fact that Chandler is missed, and then dealing with different people of who's going to play in the front line. The perimeter defense must get better.
How about the backcourt? How about using all the different combinations in the backcourt? What do you like, and what would you like to see more of in the backcourt?
Well, I do like the Felton-Prigioni backcourt. And you say a lot of times that's not going to work, and that Felton has to guard the two guards like he did last game against Gerald Henderson. And really, if you let Shumpert be at the three and kind of let him roam and play in the passing lanes more and not be on the ball quite as much with the other two guys being on the ball, that seems like that could be the sort of thing where the Knicks can generate turnovers and get into the open floor. I mean, the big difference, and you said at the top of your show of what the start was last year and what the start is this year, is the ability to get free points. And they're not getting to the free throw line very much this year, but they didn't last year.
And they're not getting open threes.
They did make a lot of threes in transition last year, and they're not doing that. But part of that is how well are you running off the turnovers, and I think that Felton and Prigioni give you that best chance.